same place,
the Caribbean man.
that make the same trip,
The Caribbean man.
on the same ship.
The Caribbean man.
So we must push one common intention.
The 15th edition of the Caribbean Festival of Arts is carded from August 22nd to 31st in Barbados. And naturally, that means we're shining a spotlight on it on now.
We gather as one, united Caribbean. We join hands in one big cultural explosion. The heartbeat of the drum, our rhythm in the sun.
Barbados is getting ready to welcome the world to CARIFESTA 15 on the 22nd to the 31st of August. Let me welcome this morning CEO of the National Cultural Foundation in Barbados and the Festival Director for CARIFESTA 15. Carol Roberts joins us via Zoom. Good morning to you, Ms. Roberts. Good morning, Carol. You there with us?
Yes, can you hear me? Good morning.
I can hear you clearly. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am great. How are you? And how is
So
everyone
far-
at TNT?
So far, so good, and the weather is beautiful in Trinidad and Tobago right now, so we're definitely excited and getting ready for CARIFESTA 15. How are preparations
Same
coming
here.
along from where you sit?
Well, from where I sit in the very hot seat, preparations are coming along quite well. We are getting ready, as I heard you say in your preamble, to welcome the region and the world in true Bajan and Caribbean hospitality from the 22nd to the 31st of August. So we're just over a week away from the opening ceremony. We are excited at the broad range and scope of disciplines and the creative expression within those disciplines. We are looking forward to everything from visual arts to food and fashion, literary arts, of course, music and dance and theater and film. And we're also choosing the opportunity to have some conversations, what we're calling big conversations about our past, about our current reality, about our potential for the future and the transformative future. We're focusing heavily on the input and participation of our young people. We're looking forward to welcoming at least 350 youth delegates, school children from across the region, in a kind of an old-fashioned jamboree format where they will immerse themselves in the culture of the Caribbean, in their shared ancestral history, and of course get to see up close and personal some people that they've only ever read or heard about or enjoyed their art and craft. So yes, things are going along swimmingly. Our fingers are crossed. The one thing we can't control is the weather, and of course we are smack dab in the hurricane season, and so we have also put some mitigation factors in place, practical, realistic ones, should we have to face any adverse weather conditions. The prevalence of new technologies will also pervade CARIFESTA, whether it is event production or whether it is communication with the globe. The Sustainable Development Goals are also a major pillar for CARIFESTA. How do we green the festival? Whether it is by trying to reduce our carbon footprint, reduce our waste, both digital and physical. How do we manage our water resources in a water scarce country? All of those things are being not just reflected in CARIFESTA, but also be implemented in real and practical ways.
No, this sounds like you have your hands filled with all sorts of things that have to happen to make sure that this comes off as smooth as possible, but you seem definitely prepared. Carol, I have to ask, let me just backtrack before we get into some more details about the festival itself. I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about you for a moment. In terms of choosing to be the festival director for this CARIFESTA 15, tell me what led you to say, yeah, this is the choice I want to make and this is how I'm going to have this impact. And what is the impact you hope to have on the festival?
Well, first of all, I'm sure you've been in situations where there was no option but to say yes, because you've been given a task.
Yeah.
As CEO of the NCF, I'm also responsible for the coordination, to lead the coordination of crop over. So we would have finished crop over exactly 1 week ago today, and CARIFESTA is on the calendar. So the next thing you take up is CARIFESTA. I also want to say that yes, I'm the festival director, but I work with a team that is multicultural, multi ethnic, multifaceted, but sharing one goal, and that is to make this the best CARIFESTA that we can. There is an interim festival directorate whose composition includes artists and creatives and thinkers from across the region. And their sole purpose is to provide guidance and support to the host country. Of course, CARIFESTA is an arm of CARICOM, so we also have the support of the Culture and Community Development Department of CARICOM, led by Dr. Hilary Brown. And then I report to my board, but also to my ministry and the Cabinet of Barbados, which is led by our Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley. And anyone who has met her or even just listened to her will know that she is like a force of nature, and that culture is in her DNA. She has a passion for it. And her vision for CARIFESTA is that vision that we are coordinating and executing, and that we're going to roll out for the world come next Friday. So,
Fantastic. Carol, let me
consider it
jump
an honor.
let me jump into the big conversations because I thought that one stood out to me a lot. Tell me the purpose of the big conversations and what is the impact we hope to be able to measure afterwards to say that these conversations were worth it.
Yes. So, CARIFESTA has, for the longest while, had a symposium series. It is the scholarship component of the festival. Papers are presented, the University of the West Indies and other tertiary institutions are very closely involved in the symposium series. As I said, papers are presented, but they're also published, and there's a document produced at the end of the festival, and a very meaningful and well crafted document. But post COVID, we live in a world where we are not only bombarded by information, but we also have created platforms for continuing discourse and discussion. That's one. The second thing is that we are, some will say, buffeted, impacted by a number of realities, whether it is climate change, whether it is diversity and tolerance and inclusion, whether it is equality for women, which is an ongoing discussion and struggle, whether it is the impact of NCDs on the region, whether it is how we go about taking back communities that have fallen prey to a number of social ills. So that whole subject of re-engineering communities, how do we empower our youth to live to their fullest potential? How does our myriad ancestral ties to other continents, how have they shaped and defined us? There's so many things that we can talk about, and that so many topics that deserve a conversation, not just among ourselves as individual sovereign states, but as a region and as a wider African diaspora. What better time to do that than when we are all gathered together, when we are comfortable in the space, when we look around and we all look alike and we all have more similarities than we do have differences. What better moment, along with the concerts and along with the street parades and along with the visual art exhibitions, what better moment to literally sit down and have some of these conversations? And as you asked, coming out of those conversations, help to frame the way forward, either at the policy level or on the ground in terms of how we live our daily lives in households and communities across this region. What better moment?
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and I completely understand where you're coming from, because now that when we gather as a Caribbean, as a region, we can definitely address some of these things that affect us culturally from the ground up and be able to address them head on. I saw yesterday that the theatre schedule was released for CARIFESTA 15, and we have some very interesting lineup. I see representation from Trinidad and Tobago, from Guyana, from Barbados, from Jamaica, from all over the Caribbean. Are there differences from where you sit in terms of what is being presented from a, I want to say, cultural standpoint when it comes to the theater series? Because I noticed that there were very different types of stories being told using the theater format.
Again, and you're absolutely correct, CARIFESTA allows the creative sector, cultural practitioners, creatives, whatever we want to call them, artists, artisans, to put their spin on what has happened, what is happening, and what should happen with the world. We don't often get that opportunity, and again, CARIFESTA is one of those signal moments when we get to show off what we see when we turn the lens of the world upon ourselves. Theatre in CARIFESTA is doing just that. There is a play on reparations. There is a play on the period of enslavement. There is a play that tells the story, a multimedia theatrical production coming all the way from Ghana, Mansa Musa World, that tells the story of the emperor of, I think it is Mali, Mansa Musa, who was at one point in time the richest man in the world, and who went on a sojourn to Mecca, and along the way, it is told that he gave out huge gifts in gold bullion.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of metaphor and content in that story that is being translated and transformed on a theatrical stage. There is a play that is in celebration of the legendary, the icon, the one and only Mighty Sparrow, who celebrated his 90th birthday just, I think it's about 2 months ago.
Yeah, back
So
in June.
we are really, right, we're really honored to have 10 to 1 on stage in Barbados. But the theatrical productions in particular also allow for synergies and transfer of skills. And so for most of the CARIFESTA theatre productions, a part of the cast and crew will be recruited from Barbados. And so training and rehearsals have already started, so there can be a transfer of skills. So theatre, the same thing is happening to a lesser degree in music, fashion as well. So yes, it's CARIFESTA. It's
I
that
wanna.
time of year.
We don't have much time left, but I want to ask two more questions. One is about
Sure.
in terms of what's happening regarding the air, to get there, the air bridge. Let's say between not just Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados, but the rest of the Caribbean. Has there been any talks with any of the airlines to facilitate smoother travel? Have there been any challenges in that regard as well?
Yes, I can't speak to the challenges, but I can tell you that several of the regional airlines have come on board in meaningful ways, either through the putting on of additional flights or charters or specifically curated packages for travel and pricing of tickets to Barbados for the period of CARIFESTA. And for that, we are very grateful.
Nice. I love to hear that. One last question before we go. It has to be about the super concert, the opening ceremony for CARIFESTA 15. Tell us what's in store. What can we look forward to?
It is the day, it is being produced as the day when Barbados welcomes its regional and global brothers and sisters to our small country to kick off the celebrations of CARIFESTA 15. So in our four major towns, we're going to have cultural pop-ups during the morning. We're going to have a huge fashion show coming right up Broad Street in Bridgetown. And then the opening ceremony starts at around 5 p.m. in the historic Queen's Park. Some of the highlights there will be a 500 strong, we call them stilt walkers, Mocha Jumbies, Jumbie Troop. It will be the Parade of Nations. We have representatives from 34 nations, including the majority of the CARICOM community and associated member states. They will be on parade in their national costumes. And then at 8 o'clock that night, it will be our first super concert. Featuring the likes of Burning Flames and a gentleman by the name of Machel Montano, the CARIFESTA All-Star Band, led by Nicholas Branker, and then, of course, the who's who of Bajan soca. And that will round off day one. And it just keeps building from there.
Most
in terms of super concerts, we have a reggae night. We have a World Beat Night headlined by Kassav. Taurus Riley is coming. Tanya Stevens is coming. Jonathan Butler is coming for a sunrise spiritual Sunday morning. Alvin Ailey too is coming. Lakatko and NDTC, they're coming. Steel Pulse, they're coming. Wow. Are you coming to CARIFESTA?
I am definitely coming as well. Like, you can't tell me all them people coming and I not there. Had to be there too, Carol.
And I haven't served you a drink or a bite to eat yet. And that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation. But you know what I will do? I will take you up on that offer when I get across to Barbados. So let me say thank you very much for joining us this morning, Carol, and all the best with the rest of the planning and with the execution of CARIFESTA 15. We're looking forward to the greatness that it will be.
You are...
All right, there we have Carol Roberts, the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation and the Festival Director for CARIFESTA 15, giving us a little snippet of what's to come from next week. So all you have to do is head across to Barbados, or maybe you could stay tuned here and we'll give you some updates as well. We'll try our thing. Let's take a quick break and come back with more in our morning show. Stick around.
Better life in the region for we woman and we children. One